This is our Forex blog for November 4th, 2011. And like most days, we really want to buy the strongest currencies versus the weakest and sell the weakest versus the strongest. You can see between the dollar and the yen has the weakest daily, weekly, and monthly trend. It's pretty weak here at 1, which continues to 3. Then you have a little bit of strength. Usually counter trend moves last a half an hour to an hour, but in this case it was about 2 hours. But because of how weak the longer time frame trend is, and the last momentum had a little bit more intensity to the downside than the last one that did to the upside, you can continue looking for sells. Now, the intensity didn't resume itself, but you might have found some winning trades there from 5:30 to about 7. You want to trade this weak currency versus one of the strongest. The strongest weekly and monthly trend is in the pound. You see some strength coming in here at 2, so you'd want to buy the strong pound versus the weak yen. Now here's 2 o'clock. When this shows up like that, you're looking to buy breakout right here. You'd go long. You probably would have a loss right there. And remember, from 5:30 to 7, the yen was looking for some weakness. However, the pound yen is underneath the hourly. One of the reasons why we use filters is when a currency is underneath the hourly, we focus mainly on selling it. When it's above the hourly, we focus on buying it. One of our patterns that we look for is when a currency breaks out from below to above the hourly, comes down and retests it there. When it starts to go back up, you go long right here. And you can see in this instance here, that trade didn't work. But later in the day, when it broke out above the hourly, went sideways right here, and then broke out over its high, the market went up close to 50 pips. The whole secret is small losses, big wins, and you're going to have losing trades no matter what system or tools or software you use. The market oftentimes is choppy, and if you see a trend and then you buy a pullback or a breakout, and if the market's choppy, it's going to, it's not going to continue. You're going to have a losing trade most likely during the choppy times, and you don't know in real time whether it's going to be choppy or not. So looking at the currency meter, you also see a lot of extreme weakness in the CAD for most of the day, and we have strength in the Australian. The monthly trend is up in the Australian, however, the weekly trend's down, so that decreases your odds a little bit. You might decide to trade a little bit less or fewer lots. So let's look at the Australian yen to buy. Strong Australian, weak yen, and again, it was a pretty choppy day, but coming into 2 o'clock right here, you can see it went up close to 30 pips. You get a pullback right here, and there's one of 2 methods that we look for buys. We find a strong trend, wait for a pullback and get in, and you can see this only went up about 10 or 12 pips, and then it reversed. That's just the nature of the beast. The CAD was consistently the weakest all day, and the pound had very strong weekly and monthly trend, and for the most part, the majority is strength during the day. Some days you're going to have to trade pairs that you don't normally do. Pound CAD, when one remains strong all day and the other one is weak, it tends to give you the big moves that everyone's looking for. As you can see, it was quite choppy. The pound was strong, the CAD was weak, and guess which direction the market eventually broke out to. One of our systems is looking for very low volatility sideways rectangle pattern. And this one's not the perfect one because it kind of goes sideways and breaks out. You might have even saw a pattern earlier today like this, where you got in, it only went up 10 pips and kind of chopped around. You might have got stopped out with a small loss or break even on that trade. But, guess what? The currency meter showed the pound was strong and most likely go up. CAD was weak and most likely go down. And you got the move that you were looking for eventually. And some days when the market's choppy, you just got to take a bunch of trades, small losses, small wins, until you catch the one that just explodes like that.